And the Ford Motor Company is planning to make cuts that could result in thousands of workers losing their jobs. As part of its $25.5 billion reorganization, Ford could cut up to 24,000 white-collar jobs across the world. According to a report from Morgan Stanley, that is 12% of Ford's global workforce. At the same time, Ford CEO Jim Hackett says President Trump's steel and aluminum tariffs are hitting the company's bottom line and hitting it hard. Hackett says the tariffs have already cost his company a total of $1 billion, and he expects the ongoing trade war to continue to add to their costs. Last month, Ford canceled plans to sell a new Focus crossover vehicle in the United States. That is because tariffs on imports from China, where the new model is actually made, make it just too expensive to sell it in the American car market. However, there is good news for trade auto workers. The newly restructured trade deal between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico includes new protections meant to keep manufacturing jobs in the United States. If the deal is enacted, more car components, 3/4 would have to be made here in the USA, Mexico, or Canada. And more of those parts would have to come from factories that pay workers more, at least $16 an hour. That's good for auto workers. Meanwhile, tariffs and trade deals are not the only thing car companies are focused on. President Trump has delivered on corporate tax cuts to a top rate of just 21%. And of course, deregulation, which is giving CEOs and business leaders plenty to celebrate.
Hey, MSNBC fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down there and click on any of the videos here to watch the latest interviews and highlights. You can get more MSNBC for free every day with our newsletters. Just visit msnbc.com/newsletters to sign up now.